fast, so stay with me, people. We're almost to the dance floor. I popped to the toilet, and the band are performing, and they sound amazing. So that's to come shortly. But it's also tradition that I just say a few words about the bridesmaids. And I don't know many of you at all. I know Anya from church, but you guys have done amazing today with Georgia. Like just watching the way that you're looking out for her. You're just in a dress for the photos, and you're just there. And there's such a fun atmosphere that you create around Georgia all day. So just well done. Let's just give it up for our bridesmaids. Georgia, just in the middle of all the bridesmaids, you just look amazing. And I've known you for a couple of years, only a couple of years. And through friendship and seeing you and Steve get together and watching that grow. But today, it's like you've reached this peak, but then seeing today just your smile and your happiness. And I know that it's just going to keep going and going and going. There's no end to it. And I just think you're amazing. And I probably don't say that enough to you, but you are. And everything I see you do and the way that we collide through the various things that we do in church, you're just so diligent and you're full of honour. And it's a privilege for me to be able to say that to you today. So just tell me I'm busy. So yeah, good job, Georgia. So my real question when I was thinking about this speech was how has Steve managed to achieve and attain such an amazing bride? Because I've known Steve since not as long as obviously his brother has, and there are some amazing things about you, Steve. But I think that I needed to do a bit more research and dig a bit deeper into Steve. And this question has bugged me, and I saw it as my duty really to reveal the secret behind his success. So I'm just going to share a few reasons why I think Steve's been so successful. The first really has come up, and I think Roger said it first in the ceremony, that it is ridiculous that Steve can literally do anything. Yeah. It amazes me that when we're doing something, Steve has a tool in his car for everything. Steve, we need this fixing. I've got a tool. Off he goes to the back of his Audi, runs around, comes back this power drill thing with this extension, and just makes it happen. And if there's anything engineering that needs putting together or a problem that needs solving, Steve's got that in his mind, and he just gets on and just does it. And I think that's amazing. It's become actually so ridiculous that around church and in the production team that we work together with, a little bit of a rumour started that Steve's actually got special powers. Steve actually has special skills. Perhaps he is even superhuman. The way that he can do anything. And sometimes these skills transfer onto other people on his team when they're around him. They begin to do amazing things. And Mo and Roller at the back there is frequently rubs off on this amazing power. Does amazing things with Steve. So Steve, I think you must have used a lot of these superpowers to get hold of Georgia. And I feel that maybe the superhero cape that you've been wearing is probably a bit worn. So I've got you another superhero outfit. So that complements the other oh, okay. Right, honeymoons are brilliant. So I think it's to do with the Eon mug. So he always walks in with this Eon mug, and I don't know what you put in it, but it does something to you. I don't know, it's like Banana Man's banana. But I had no idea that Steve was this super when I first met him. I collided with Steve in Sheffield, where we both studied, and I met Steve when he'd just come back from Germany on a placement year, and quickly began to sort of get to know Steve as a great guy again, and we joined the same kind of small group together in Sheffield, and it was here that I learned Steve's greatest weakness, and I thought I'd share this weakness. It's not really been mentioned so far this evening, but I'm going to say it, and it was discovered during a sushi tasting session that we had. And it was lots of international students, and they just, all this sushi out. And then Steve spotted this really meaty bit of sushi, and it just had this green paste on top of it. And Steve thought, oh, green, cool, looks great. I love that cucumber, cool. So he bites right into it. This paste was wasabi sauce. I've never heard a man scream like Steve screamed when he bit into that, and I think it was a painful week. So I've got something for Georgia as a gift as well, and this is really more of a deterrent than a gift. If Steve, looks like he's going to start to misbehave, doesn't want to do the washing up, doesn't want to take the bins out, just remind him that I gave him this wasabi sauce, because just the thought that it might go into his next meal will keep him under control. So give that to you there. After university, Steve moved around quite a bit. And I was starting to think, why did Steve move around a lot? I mean, he told me he was on some kind of Eon kind of apprenticeship type thing. But really, as I've been studying and just looking into the background, Steve was actually working for MI5, travelling around, and he learned some valuable skills while he was travelling around. He learned the art of disguise while he was travelling around. And he also gained a passion, as you do when you travel, for the finer things in life. There's one of his friends there. I think this might be fantastic. And so Steve, quickly, as he was travelling around the world, began to taste the finer things in life, which we all know Georgia really enjoys. So obviously that's come into play. This one puzzled him a little bit there. I think that's seafood, Steve. I don't know where you came across that. So obviously those things, I know, George, you appreciate those as he's wined and dined you and taken you out. But Steve is shrewd and he is wise, and he chose to settle after this kind of moving around in the Wirral. And the shrewd and wise bit comes when he moved in with his parents, because he's not really done any washing or cleaning for a number of years. So I don't know how that's going to affect the early stages of your marriage. But he built up quite a savings pot as well, which, as we know, is becoming quite handy today. I think we've all enjoyed some of that savings pot today. And it's going to come great for you, Georgia, especially, with all the things that he's going to buy for you. And, I don't think it's going to be some pastels that he's going to buy for you. So that's fantastic. So good planning there, Steve. Well done. But the only flaw to this plan was that while living with his parents, Steve discovered there was one thing he cannot do. And it's the only thing that his dad is better than him at, and that is fruit art. This was a piece that was shown in church exhibit. I think it's in a museum now. So it's fantastic. So, Steve, you'll never be able to do fruit art. Don't even try. Just leave that for your dad. Okay. But what he lost in fruit, he gained in music, which obviously we mentioned here today. And I when I moved to Liverpool a couple of years ago, collided again with Steve, and we started playing in the same band together. And he's a true international musician, and he always likes to bring a new flavour of music. And here he is, just trying to do that with his djembe. He never just brings the drum; he brings the whole outfit. And that's what I love about Steve. It's all or nothing with Steve. And Steve's stage presence and showmanship have obviously worked for you, George, and he took this to the next level, and he thought he'd try out another one of Steve's killer gifts, and that is acrobatics. And he thought, well, where better to show off this talent to woo my lady with than take her to a beach where there are 9-foot-high bronze naked statues and balance on top of them, which obviously worked. I don't know, each to their own. And luckily Steve has more skills in his bag as well. He's obviously into fashion, which is... Oh, hello. No, he's not into fashion anymore. No. But Steve loves to dress up, as he demonstrated on the stag do. There you go. And it just puts everything into it. That was on the stag do there. He loved that headdress there. And then also they're sporting another couple of items. But well done, Steve, for just looking so great today. Brilliant, no bright colours, which is good. You stayed classy today. Well done. Steve's quite a humble guy, would you agree? Yeah. Steve's quite a humble guy. He doesn't like to sort of throw himself out there and say, I'm brilliant at everything, which he is, which is annoying. But Steve, as his brother mentioned, never, ever backs down from a challenge. Okay? Never, ever backs down. And sometimes this has dramatic conclusions. And it's been mentioned on the stag do, you know, it wasn't enough for Steve to just beat us all at karting and then sing operatic style to a packed restaurant, you know, embarrassing himself. He drank the hottest curry in the place on the night, and, you know, anything you challenge him, he rises to. But sometimes it's not enough for other people to challenge him. He has to challenge himself. And that's where this West Kirby thing came in. He's just like, well, no, I'm going to go a bit further. And there's a bit of the story that Paul just missed out, and it's quite important that when Steve dived in, he was, you know, he eventually made it aside and collapsed and stopped breathing. Fortunately, Tony was around to give him mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. So thanks, Tony, for bringing him back to life. Give a round of applause for Tony for doing it. Although, Georgia, that's probably not an image that you want to spend much time thinking about. Now, because Steve sometimes runs out of challenges for himself and brothers, you'll find envelopes on your table. Now is the time to open those envelopes. There's also a pen with those envelopes. And as I close this speech off, I want you to start thinking about things that perhaps, Steve, you could challenge him to do. And so you open the envelopes, they're little challenge Steve cards. Okay, so if there's something you always wanted to challenge Steve to do, now's your opportunity. And we'll collect those in and give them to Steve. Maybe we'll give them to Georgia, and then when Steve's getting bored, you can just throw a challenge at him. That'd be quite good. So yeah, let's have a little think about that, and get those back to me. So with all these attributes combined, it's fairly obvious why Steve has managed to be so super. Okay, don't challenge him now. Stop it. You're getting too carried away, too quickly. Save your energy. But if I was to sum up Steve, I'd say, with all these attributes combined, Steve has captured the heart of his bride. So he's an international man of mystery, he's a master of disguise, he's a connoisseur of the finer things, he's an accomplished musician, he's a God-born wannabe, he's a challenge advocate, eat your heart out free, and he's got that showmanship, dressed up with immaculate presentation. He is the man of power, Eon power, for Georgia's hour. So please put it together again for Steve. Put something in your glasses quickly. We're gonna stand in a minute and we're gonna give a final toast. I think I probably want to get rid of that picture. Steve's just gonna take his medication. So Steve and Georgia, together, when I look at you guys, and I'm not even going to look at what I've written down here. I see a couple that are destined for great things. You guys together are an absolute powerhouse. From the explosion of the Connect group this year, the amount of students that are in this room that you've shared many moments with, you've gone through the struggles with them, your pastor's heart, your compassion, the way that you seek out the new people in church and you find them, you gather them in, and that's all those skills are just amazing, and the synergy of you two coming together, I think, is just so powerful. And I'm privileged to be part of that journey with you, and I can't wait to see what God is going to do with your lives together. It's just unbelievable. Like I said, strength to strength. We're just going to keep going. So thank you, Steve and Georgia, for asking me to be your Bestman player. It's a huge privilege, it really is. So would you please all stand up and raise your glasses to Mr. and Mrs. Barry.